Hi friends, today we start the second chapter of Cbse Class 10 Economics. The name of the chapter is Sectors of the Indian Economy. There are three sectors in the Indian economy. They are the primary sector, the secondary sector, and the tertiary sector. These sectors will be there in almost all economies. This is true about even Kosovo, the newly independent state of Southeast Europe. Okay, but the size of the sectors may be small sometimes. That is the only difference. Okay, what is primary sector? When we produce a good exploiting a natural resource, it is an activity of the primary sector. So what is the criterion? We must use a natural resource to produce a good or service. Then that activity comes under primary sector. Economic activities like agriculture, forestry, fishing, animal husbandry, mining, quarrying, poultry farming, etc. come under primary sector. This sector is called primary sector because it forms the base for all other products that we subsequently make. It is also called agriculture and related sector or agriculture and allied sector. Okay, let's move. What is secondary sector? The secondary sector is industry or manufacturing sector. Here mostly raw materials from the primary sector are converted into goods. For example, raw cotton from the primary sector is converted into yarn, cloth, shirt, etc. This sector is called secondary sector because the next step after primary activities is conversion of primary products into other forms through industrial or manufacturing activity. Okay, let's move on. Now we come to the tertiary sector or third sector. The tertiary sector is also called the service sector. All types of services like education, health, banking, insurance, transport, communication, administration, trade, tourism, entertainment, restaurant, hotel, etc. are provided by the tertiary sector. It is a supporting sector both to the primary and secondary sectors. This sector is called tertiary sector because after primary and secondary activities, there is a third category of activities which are different from the above two. No good is produced in this sector, but this sector helps the other two sectors. Okay, let's move on. We will have some examples for the tertiary sector. Goods produced in a factory must be transported to the market. But transportation is not an activity of the primary or secondary sector. So this forms a third sector. So transportation is a part of tertiary sector. Another example, when a tourist comes to a place, that person must get accommodation, food, etc. Okay, this providing accommodation is not a part of primary or secondary sector, and therefore this forms the part of a third sector. So hospitality services form the part of a third sector. Another example, suppose you want to start a savings bank account in a bank or insure your car or go for higher education or get your aching tooth treated. All these are not activities related to the primary or secondary sector. All these come under the trade or services sector. But at the same time, the services sector may be using the products like machinery, medicine, edible things, etc. from the other two sectors. Other two means primary and secondary sectors. Okay. What are the different kinds of economic activities? In the primary sector, we have economic activities like farming, forestry, dairy, fishing, animal husbandry, poultry, mining, quarrying, etc. In the secondary sector, we have economic activities like manufacturing a finished good or an intermediate good. For this, the sector uses the produce of the primary sector. This may be farm goods like cotton and jute or metal ores and minerals from the mining sector or quarry products, etc. You have already learned about final goods and intermediary goods. Okay, let's move on. In the tertiary sector, services are provided. These include education, health, banking, restaurants, transportation, insurance, hospitality, etc. No good is produced in the tertiary sector, but primary and secondary sectors get help from this sector. Thank you. You can have the notes from my blog, EcoFriend. The link is given here, ullasachidan.blogspot.com.